it felt like my fly was down because of all the wind.
You get a little breezy?
I was getting a little breezy, to be honest. Good day, guys. We are here at Niagara College. You'd think we'd be doing something with Niagara College, but we are not. We're here to see Brad Barta, the brewer and one of the co-founders of Wooden Horse Brewing. They are contract brewing. He is teaching at the college and contracting out of the college. So let's go have a chat about his company and about contract brewing in general. Good day, Brad.
How's it going, Chad?
How are you?
Good to see you.
So we're here with Brad Barta.
Yes.
We're going to talk about some contract brewing here at Niagara College and about his company, Wooden Horse. Let's get to know you a little bit. What got you into the industry?
What got me into the industry was a passion for the hobby of home brewing, and I just wanted to be one of those guys who was lucky enough to turn their hobby into a career. Actually, you know, it doesn't matter what hobby you're into. If you're passionate about something, it's always amazing if you can turn that into an actual job. So that's actually what I wanted was, you know, if I'm passionate about something, you're not at work.
Favorite part of the industry?
Favorite part of the industry? The camaraderie, obviously. I know a lot of people say that, but the people in the industry really are awesome. But in general, I love the creativity that you can do with beer.
Least favorite part of the industry?
Least favorite part of the industry? Well, I would have to say the regulation side of things. When I was a student here at Niagara College, there was one day we actually had the AGCO come into the class, you know, and it was a good one-on-one chat, ask some questions. We had a couple of inspectors there, but the supervisors in the back of the class. And when the question came up about inducements, the inspectors were silent and the supervisors spoke. And at that point, the official stance of the AGCO was, inducements don't occur, it's a fallacy, it's all in your mind. And the entire class just stood there, chin on the ground, you know, okay, thanks for obviously not having our backs. So that's a huge negative to it. After that encounter, you know, we all went to the campus pub to have a beer to discuss it under Rickard's Red umbrellas, right? So that can be a downside, as well as how restricting it is for how we can sell a beer.
Alrighty, favorite style of beer?
Favorite style of beer? It changes like music, you know, it's like, what's your favorite music? You know, I think I keep going back to, the one style I keep going back to is probably Hefeweizens, a good classic Hefeweizen.
Alright, least favorite style?
I am desperately trying to like sour beers. But I can count on one hand how many I've actually liked. My own palate, I'm pretty sensitive to tartness and that sort of thing, so I'm working on it, but it just isn't there yet.
3 beers for the rest of your life, one from you, one from another small guy, and one from a big guy. What are they going to be?
Right now I'm really rocking my Pilsner. Actually went to school to Germany to learn how to do a proper Pilsner. So my Pilsner, Carne de Diablo from DDCL, awesome beer. And from the big guys, probably MGD.
Hophead, Yeast Beast, or Malt Maniac?
I've heard you ask that question a few times. Why don't you add water?
Not everybody does what the college does and does like 15 different types of water in the beer.
Actually, I'm in awe of yeast. You can do so much with yeast. They're so versatile. You know, you can do a particular beer, it's the same grain bill, same hop bill, but I can make you 1,000 different beers with all the different ways you can manipulate yeast.
Yeah, just changing the temperature.
Changing the temperature.
Steve at Innocente loves doing that. Oh, I did this temperature, this temperature.
Yeah, and there's a brewery in Buffalo, they go out of their way to purposely underpitch at a certain rate because it stresses the yeast and just gets a particular ester profile that they're after. So different varieties of yeast, different temperatures, and different ways you can stress them. There's so much you can do with yeast.
Weirdest ingredient you've ever used to brew with?
Weirdest ingredient. I've got this cool book at home called The Flavor Bible. and you can look up any ingredient and it gives you all the classic pairings of different ingredients. So I thought I'd be really kooky as a home brewer. If you really want to make a really good side dish to your dinner tonight, steam up some carrots, drizzle some maple syrup on it, and give it a squeeze of orange. So I actually did a brew where I used maple sap as my water, carrots, and orange peel.
That is very intriguing.
It was undrinkable. It went straight to the dump sink, but hey, you gotta try it, right?
Well, just like George Eagleson in his beer, Why Not? His Brussels sprout smoked meat beer.
That sounds horrible.
But why not, right?
Why not? I want to try using some ingredients actually to make a genuine healthy beer while still keeping the flavor like a beer, right? So,
any advice to anyone that wants to get into the industry?
People want to get into the industry. One thing I always hammer into the students here at the college is remember, it's still a small industry. You know, I'm not going to say tread lightly, but you know, keep that in mind. Your reputations do follow people. If you're that one asshole that nobody ever wants to work with, nobody's ever going to work with you, right? So no, you know, make the beer solid, but keep in mind, it's not just about the beer, it's a business, and it's a small industry, and everybody, the reason it's such a cool industry is because people get along well.
And lastly, if you weren't doing this, what do you think you'd be doing?
You notice the gray in the beard, right? Generally speaking, you know, before I got into the program, I was running a small mom and pop fireplace shop. And I actually had the option of buying the business, but then I decided, no, I'd rather do beer. So if I weren't doing this, I'd probably be selling fireplaces and wood stoves.
Alrighty, well, thank you for letting us get to know you.
Okay.
Wooden Horse, why that name?
We had a short list of different names. Actually, we put out to all the brewmasters that we knew, hey guys, we're coming up with a name for a brewery, throw some ideas out there. Brewers being the jokesters that they are, I'll just say that none of those names were usable. My wife actually came up with the name Wooden Horse. We put it out there on our short list, hit a bunch of different social media, and everybody just came out saying Wooden Horse, Wooden Horse, Wooden Horse. Seems like everybody had a different connection. Reminded them of, you know, some horse thing they had when they were a kid. Carousels, Trojan horses, everybody had some different connection to it. So we like that, so we stuck with it.
Now, we did talk about this off camera, so we want to talk about your tap handle?
Yeah, so I mean, in general, one of the challenges when you're a contract brewer is when you walk into any establishment, you're there to sell your kegs. And so many times we've been chatting with licensees, 99% of the time some contract brewer comes in with a blank can, says please just try it and call me. We wanted to show up looking a little more pro. That's why we've actually got labels for the cans. This is what our tap handle looks like. You know, pretty simple. It's a wine barrel stave that we chopped up. Got a local guy to make the medallions, put in the inserts. And they're gorgeous. We've been getting a lot of good reviews. People are like, I really like that. And
it will stand out.
Suits the decor a lot of pubs too, right? Yeah.
Contract brewing. What's the difference for people that don't know between contract brewing and brick and mortar brewery?
The main thing with contract brewing is a lot of breweries are trying to build up some brand equity as well as some money in general to eventually become bricks and mortar. So a contract brewer essentially hires another brewery to brew their beer for them under, you know, their manufacturing license, and then we pound the pavement to go sell those beers. I'm really lucky because I work here at Niagara College. I think a lot of contract brewers, you know, they'll walk into a place, they'll say, here's my recipe, please make it the way I want you to make it. Here I'm actually physically making my beer, so it's kind of a nice benefit to babysit it throughout the whole process, right? But yeah, for the most part, I don't have a building you can visit. Come visit me at the school anytime, but that's, you know, probably 2 years down the road, realistically.
Now, do you think that is a detriment to some contract brewers, not having the building to visit, so people can't go and meet the people that are brewing their beer?
Fortunately, with the school, I've gotten to know, you know, a lot of brewers, and I know guys who work at contract brewers, and I've said to them, you know, I've got this recipe, it's got a couple of steps in the infusion, and he just looked at me and said, no, you got one temperature. One step infusion, that's all you're getting. So yeah, you know, they can come in and say, please do it like this. Good places will do it like that. You just don't know until you've actually got the beer in your hand.
Now, I know there are some contract brewers, very, very few though, but there are some that have worked out that they go in and they brew their beer themselves. Is that normal, or is that a rarity?
I would say it depends on the facility. You know, a small facility, and if they know that the contract brewery has got a solid brewer that can work the equipment, sure. But I don't think any large outfits are going to trust somebody on their big systems.
Yeah.
Rightly so, too. You know, you've got safety issues and that sort of thing. Yeah. So probably 50-50.
And now, again, do you think the contract industry is good for Ontario? I do know that it does fill up a lot of empty space that some of the bigger guys have.
Yes. It helps, you know, test things. You know, part of our whole process is eventually we're going to need money to do bricks and mortar. This whole exercise is more to prove we can make good beer, we can sell it. You know, anybody can make beer. It's whether they can actually sell it and actually prove in a business plan it's worth carrying forward. So contract brewing does help people do that. If anybody thinks that they're going to make a career of it, I wouldn't recommend it.
Well, that was going to be my next question, the validity of, or sustainability of just staying as a contract brewer. Do you think that you always have to have an end goal of the brick and mortar?
Yes. Don't quit your day job. If you want to pay the rent, don't quit your day job for the most part. Some are probably doing it better than others when they've got such volume. But generally speaking, the golden rule is you don't do this to make money, you do this as a stepping stone.
Now, in the last 2 years, we've seen about 6 contract brewers fold. What are your thoughts as to why that would have happened?
You ask around and you try and find out exactly why that's the case. I think more often than not, those doing it were relying on it as a source of income. So again, I'm lucky I've got a full-time job. My partner, he's doing his thing. I think a lot of times people find a lot of financial stress and it just didn't pan out the way they were hoping it was going to. So I think financial stress, people also go in debt to do it. So it's a combination of I need to pay the rent and this debt. It's a lot of stress, and you know, at the end of the day, you're not putting a lot of money in the bank.
So yeah, you do think that sometimes some people jump into the contract industry not realizing the money that's into it, or the smaller margins of profit you're going to get?
I think so, yeah. Yeah. General rule for life, you'll be happy if you have low expectations.
Yeah, I do remember the first time I talked contract brewing with John at Nickelbrook, he would tell me people would come in with I want a contract brew and I have this much money, and he'd laugh at them. He'd tell me, it's like, he'd say, well, you need your licensing, you need to buy your cans, you need to buy your kegs, you need to, and just listing everything off.
Yeah.
Like, you're coming to me with 20 grand, you need at least 500,000.
That's a lot. But I mean, again, my partner and I were lucky to both had a little bit of money saved off to the side. So, you know, in one of the contract brewers that went under, we actually bought half of their kegs. So, you know, you try and find the deals wherever you can. But yeah, don't expect to be making a lot of money at it. It's just a stepping stone.
Now, I know you have three varieties here,
yeah,
which is great to get out to more people and have a better chance of getting into different venues, different licensees. What are your thoughts of the contract brewers that come out with just the one brand and try and sell that?
It's not necessarily a bad idea, because I think when people do that, they're coming out with their flagship.
Yep.
So that's really what they want to get out there. We wanted to be a little different and offer some different beers. We did, at my business partner's place, we had kind of a party with survey cards. And what we actually had were 6 different beers on tap, but we only wanted information. Top 4 even. Yeah. Or just, you know, fill out the card and, you know, give us an idea. And the stout stood out, the Pilsner stood out, and the IPA stood out. But the IPA is different compared to what a lot of people are into these days. Mine's really more of a British style, and it's got a sharp bitterness. Where, you know, so many people are into the East Coast styles, right? So that, and I had a Dunkelweizen, a Scotch ale that we did not want reviews on, but people wrote on there the Scotch ale was awesome, and a Saison sour radler that we kind of whipped up and got great reviews on that as well. But, you know, we wanted to look a little different. Again, show up with 3 different beers. You know, I've walked into an Irish pub recently and they basically said, Guinness will never allow us to have another stout on hand. Okay, cool. I get that. You got 2 other beers for you to try, you know, so it opens up opportunity for us.
Yep. I know that we just talked about the one brand thing. Do you think though it's important for a contract brewer to get into the industry with something mainstream or something more diverse, maybe different, to try and get into the different areas?
That's a challenge, because when you're contract brewing, you have to remember that, you know,
the limitations at the brewery.
You know, well, that and your consumer, your customer isn't just the consumer. Your customer is the licensee.
Yeah.
And we've noticed, like, we've had places buy all 3 kegs from us. Pilsner always goes on first. That's just been the trend so far. They know their customers. They know what sells. So sadly, you still have to compromise, right? You still need to work that angle with the licensees. You know, as an example, the IPA, when I originally made that, was a 6.8%. And all licensees are saying, enough guys, you know, craft guys with these high alcohol beers. So we toned it down to 5.5. So a contract brewer needs to sell to the licensee really more than they do the customer.
So it's important to take feedback from your purchasers.
Take your feedback, and keep in mind they want to sell many, many beers, not just 2 super high alcohol beers. Having said that, having something different puts your name out there too. So bit of trial and error.
It's a balancing act.
It's a balancing act. Again, you know, the 3 styles we've come out with are fairly mainstream in that sense. But again, you gotta sell your beer.
Now, when we go to a brick and mortar brewery and I ask a question like, say, do you brew beer that you want to drink or that will sell? They usually say, what I want to drink. Do you think for a contract brewer it's more the opposite? It's something, until you have your brick and mortar building, you should be making things that will sell?
No.
Okay.
Only because, you know, again, we're discussing sours earlier.
Well, yeah, sours would sell like hotcakes right now.
You think so?
Oh, you get that up in Toronto with the bar towel people. Oh my God, it's a sour.
True enough. It depends on the bar, right? But generally, as a brewer, you know, you're testing your own beers. How can you brew a beer that you yourself aren't fond of? How can you brew that to a point where you say, that's it, you know? I think any brewer still brews to their own taste, but maybe with a spin towards, I think this would be good for a licensee. Maybe this is better later on when we have bricks and mortar and people coming to us. Or special events. You know, I've been chatting with other places and saying, you know, down the road we can do a cask, maybe one of the sour beers, and they're just excited about that, right?
So differences in the legalities for a contract brewer versus the big guys. One that most people probably don't know is the festival idea.
Yes.
Where technically it was illegal for them to serve forever. It was sort of looked past until Mark and Mandy brought it up one time, and then it was no contract brewers. And then the beer store came to your rescue.
You left field.
The beer store came to your rescue and said,
yes.
Hey, if you pay us this much money, we'll give you an invoice. Because that's all they're doing. They're giving an invoice.
Okay.
So it costs you like $40. They give you an invoice for your beer, and then it's legal. Is there anything else really that's different?
I mean, beer fest aside, I mean, again, generally, you know, I'm selling kegs, right? Yeah. I can sell cans, but you know, by the time you're done, you look at this can. Number one, for the low volume that we're doing, right? One of these cans costs us $1.76. And no licensee is going to pay more than $2.20 per can. So you kind of sit back and like, why bother, you know? The same token, maybe it gets your foot in the door. So you're challenged with how you can sell your beer. The other side of things, you know, compared to bricks and mortar, you know, I'm sticking to these 3.
No
bricks and mortar, exactly. You can go crazy, do what you want. Like, look at the school here. We've got, Josh, how many we got on tap? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 different beers, right? That keeps a brewer happy too, so you can be creative.
I must admit, while you're hiding over there off the camera, that I would hate to polish these taps, because I've had to polish taps for a long time. That's a long rail.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun though too when we're serving.
Anything else you want to bring up about contract brewing?
Well, we made the genius decision to start in February. But you know, people are still quite receptive. I'm in Niagara Falls, my business partner's in Toronto. Niagara Falls is an interesting beast because you've got a lot of corporate restaurants there, right? So any purchasing decisions is really done in an office somewhere else.
Yeah.
So
a lot of places that are all big brand, even though they say they're not.
Yeah, there's always that. So of course you're fighting for tap space. Toronto's been very receptive. You know, we've launched now 2 weeks. We're 2 weeks old officially launching. Selling in February, but still in 2 weeks we've sold 15 kegs in February. That's not bad at all, you know.
Future home of Wooden Horse, are you going out to Toronto, or are you abandoning Niagara?
Not necessarily. We're still on the fence looking at different areas. Pardon me?
They're going to Toronto.
No, I used to live in Toronto. I have no desire to move back to the city. Actually, we were eyeballing a spot in Jordan Station not that long ago. You know, it's certainly not a bad idea to tie in with the wine guys and continue growing Niagara as a destination for...
Niagara's a weird beast as well, like when you look at the entire region, because all these little towns can support a local brewery, and the people want to support local too. I mean, Cane and Kettle does great, Brimstone does great. The Lock Street just opened, they're doing great in Port Dalhousie. Like it's... Yep,
no, you're absolutely right. And it also depends on the model, the business model you're after. You know, we're not looking to be Bose, right? If we can get a nice little setup happening, and you know, I see Josh who works the counter, he'll leave at 5 p.m. every day. I know that's a bit of a pipe dream, but you know, if we can lock the doors at 7:30, 8 o'clock at night, I'm pretty pleased with that, you know. And
do you think that some people have to get possibly what they want out of this in order, like realizing that you can have a very viable, very profitable business just doing your local area instead of growing and growing and growing?
I think that's actually been one of the primary things for the craft movement in North America in general. You go to Europe, there's no such thing as craft brewing. It's just the neighborhood pub,
yeah.
Right? That makes their own. It's the equivalent, and I really hope Canada in general goes in this direction, equivalent of the local butcher, the baker, brewery, right? It's
like
just part of the neighborhood.
Everywhere, just brewery.
Exactly. Makes for a better neighborhood.
Alrighty, well thank you very much, sir.
Cheers. We gonna have a beer?
I guess so.
I'm a big stout fan right now.
Okay.
And ales and and pilsners and this is fucking delicious.
You like that?
This
cool.
is all the mouthfeel on this is divine.
You like that beer, Chris?
Do I? Do I like this beer? No, I love this beer. This stout is fantastic.
Like what brewery makes that beer?
Wooden Horse.
Wooden Horse? You know what the name of this stout is? No? No, you weren't listening?
Hold on. It's an Irish session stout. And it's fantastic, and it's not fucking quizzing me, I swear.
You're gonna wear that